Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the commander's blueprint for navigating high-stakes leadership. Look, you've already mastered celestial navigation, you understand the intricate engineering of your vessels, and you know the maritime regulations inside and out. But stepping into the role of captain, that requires an entirely new, deeply complex toolkit. Today, we're focusing on the absolute hardest variable you're going to face at sea, the human being.
Here's our agenda. We're going to cover the human element at sea, the neuroscience of command, navigating global bridge cultures, mastering the 5 levels, tactical crew communication training, and finally, forging a just culture. Let's dive in.
Section 1. The human element at sea, moving beyond tactical navigation. For decades, the maritime industry operated under this massive and, honestly, pretty dangerous myth. The idea was that rigorous engineering and technical expertise were enough to guarantee safety. But I want to pose a question that totally challenges that historic paradigm. When a colossal vessel runs aground or collides in a busy strait, what's the actual root cause? Is it some sudden, unpredictable mechanical failure? A rogue wave? Not exactly. The truth is, human error is the true precipitator of disaster. We're talking about a catastrophic collapse in soft skills, communication, and psychological safety. This is exactly why the sweeping SCW 2026 amendments, the International Standards for Watchkeeping, legally mandate rigorous training in the human element. The days of treating soft skills as optional nice-to-haves are completely over. They are literal survival mechanisms. And here are the 10 fundamental soft skills that form your crew's psychological connective tissue. You need solid communication to prevent misinterpretations, and teamwork to resolve conflicts, especially during long periods of isolation. Decision-making is absolutely vital for selecting critical actions under immense pressure, right alongside situational awareness so you can continuously monitor for threats. Assertiveness is a big one. It empowers your juniors to actually speak up and challenge unsafe directives. Meanwhile, leadership directs your multinational crew towards shared objectives. You've also got a master assignment to delegate the workload and allocation for the strategic distribution of your physical and temporal resources. Tapping into team experience really helps mitigate fatigue. And finally, adaptability ensures you can respond to environmental crises with creative agility. Think of this as your daily evaluation metric. Section 2. The neuroscience of command, the biological engine room. So your internal neurochemistry actually dictates your tactical decision-making. Imagine a crisis hits, say an engine room fire. The executive functions in your cerebral cortex can literally just shut down, handing over control to your emotional limbic system. As a leader, your goal is to regulate your crew's neurochemistry by first regulating your own. You want high testosterone for confidence and sharp focus, combined with low cortisol to keep the panic completely at bay. If you let that cortisol spike, you become anxious, toxic, and prone to catastrophic split-second errors. And the stakes of maintaining this hormonal balance are incredibly high, mostly because of a fascinating biological phenomenon called mirror neurons. These are the neural mechanisms governing emotional awareness. It means your biological state will literally infect your entire bridge team. If you panic, your crew's brains will automatically mirror that exact panic. But if you project calm, calculated confidence, you neurologically stabilize your entire team. Your mood isn't just a vibe, it's contagious on a biological level. Section 3. Navigating global bridge cultures. Diversity as a strategic asset. As a modern master, you're commanding diverse, multinational crews. Navigating these environments is totally essential to maintaining that calm biology we just talked about. You'll need to know how to balance the open, innovative teamwork of a collegial environment, which you often see in Scandinavian fleets where active participation is the norm, against the strict, documented control of a formalistic one. Formalistic cultures are common in highly traditional, hierarchical fleets that rely heavily on predefined solutions. Different crews, and honestly different situations, will require you to actively shift between these two paradigms. This cultural tension was demonstrated tragically by the 2015 Hamburg grounding. It's a terrifying example of toxic high-power distance. A junior cadet literally plotted a navigational fix that showed the ship was heading straight for disaster. But because the culture on board enforced an extreme, unquestionable hierarchy, that cadet felt psychologically unsafe to speak up. He silently erased his correct, life-saving fix rather than challenge the officer of the watch, and the ship grounded. We saw another fatal gap in cultural adaptability during the Costco-Busan collision. A profound lack of cultural intelligence, coupled with a massive language barrier, led to absolute paralysis on the bridge. The Chinese captain watched the American pilot execute a disastrous maneuver, but remained entirely silent due to those underlying cultural dynamics. It really highlights why ethnocentrism, the belief that your own cultural norms apply to everyone else, has absolutely no place on a modern bridge. To manage all these differences, we look to the GLOBE framework, a massive study of global leadership. This maps cultural clusters directly to the exact leadership tactics you need to deploy. For instance, if you have a predominantly Anglo crew, autocratic barking of orders is going to cause them to completely withdraw. They want a visionary, team-oriented leader. If you have a Nordic crew, your modesty and deep inclusivity in decisions are paramount. Or if you have a crew from Confucian Asia, they expect you to care for the group, but also make firm, independent decisions without needing extensive consultation. You really must tailor your command style to the specific cultural cluster on your bridge. Section 4, Mastering the 5 Levels, the Progression of Influence. True maritime leadership isn't just magically handed to you along with your 4 stripes. It's a step-by-step ascent. If you stay stuck at level 1, the position level, ruling purely by formal rank and intimidation, you're just going to breed high turnover and slackness. You have to progress daily. That means building relationships at level 2, so your team actually wants to follow you. Then uniting the team to hit tangible organizational goals at level 3. At level 4, you're actively empowering and mentoring your junior officers. And it all builds toward reaching that level 5 pinnacle, where your crew gives you their sacrificial loyalty, based intrinsically on your ethical standards and deep respect. Section 5, Tactical Crew Communication Training, Practical Frameworks for the Bridge. When it comes to managing your daily operations and training your diverse officers, you'll want to rely on the human touch framework. This is your 10-point tactical checklist for communicating effectively across cultural lines. Next time you sit down with an officer for an evaluation, or even to correct a mistake, walk through this acronym. Hear him attentively, understand his feelings, motivate his desires, appreciate his efforts publicly, deliver news transparently, train him continuously, open his eyes to the broader mission, understand his unique cultural background, contact him personally, and honor him as a professional. This isn't just corporate fluff, guys. This is exactly how you build a bridge team that won't hesitate for a second to warn you of an impending collision. You also have to actively guide your newly assembled crew through these 5 team-building phases. When a new crew boards, you're in the forming stage, establishing baseline trust. But you will inevitably hit the storming phase, where cultural and operational conflicts arise. You cannot ignore these challenges to authority. You have to lead the team through structured activities to reach norming, and ultimately performing, where you're delegating responsibilities and encouraging high achievement. You practice this creative problem-solving and communication long before a severe storm actually hits. And finally, adjourning, where you celebrate the successes and extract vital operational lessons. Section 6, Forging a Just Culture, the Ultimate Legacy of Command. The highest application of every single soft skill we've discussed today is the culture you ultimately leave behind. We know from tragic empirical evidence, like the capsizing of the Semfjord and the grounding of the lispelling seaways, that a toxic environment is completely lethal. When leadership allows severe fatigue, alcohol, and slackness to thrive, catastrophic negligence follows. Situational awareness gets destroyed and vessels are lost. A just culture fundamentally shifts this entire paradigm. As a newly promoted captain, your job isn't to ruthlessly punish every honest cognitive error. Your job is to treat those mistakes as critical learning opportunities to fix broken systems. You have to draw a razor-sharp line between an unintentional, well-meaning error, which you learn from, and deliberate, reckless misconduct, which you address immediately. You must maintain this stark contrast on your bridge. A blame culture treats errors as personal failures, using harsh punishment which just creates terrified sailors who intentionally hide their mistakes in critical safety data. A just culture, on the other hand, fosters profound psychological safety. It actively encourages your team to report near misses openly, allowing you to intercept a system weakness way before it ever turns into a tragedy. I'll leave you with this final provocative thought for today's explainer. As a newly promoted captain, stepping right into the pressure cooker of command, you already have the technical skills. But when the alarms sound and the pressure really hits, what legacy of leadership will you rely on to bring your crew home safely? How will you regulate your mind, understand your crew's diverse cultures, and ensure your human element never fails? Think on that and lead well.